Suns. The Suns have won 9 of 10 and a record of 19. Camp to Berry Park. Why play ordinary blackjack when you can play bonus blackjack? The point guard, I think we know this name, Stephon Marbury, 19.6 points, 8 assists, 38 minutes. The off guard playing his best basketball in quite a while, Anthony Hardaway. Penny comes into the ball game, 11 points, 5 boards, 4.5 assists, 31 minutes. Jake Sakalidis, some back problems, so he's back in Phoenix. So the veteran Scott Williams gets the start, 4 points, 3 boards, 13 minutes. The forwards, Amari Stoudemire, the 20-year-old sensation, 11 points, 9 boards, 30 minutes. And a man who's back after missing the last game and a half, the Matrix, Shawn Marion, 20 points, 10 boards, 41 minutes. Frank Johnson, his first full season as the head coach. And you know, early in this season, Pete, a lot of the key guys on the Suns were kind of rebelling against Frank Johnson's version of the motion offense. But let me give you this quote from Marbury. When we run our offense, when we stay in our system, we'll win every time. I guess they bought in.
Wow, that says a lot right there. And it just shows you that players don't always know what's best for the team. That's why a coach has to have a vision, Chad, and he's got to stick with it, even when players are questioning him. And I'll tell you what, Frank Johnson does not have a tremendous amount of experience, obviously, head coaching, but he does have convictions, and he has played in some pretty good systems, and he does know the game. So Frank Johnson, hats off to him for sticking to his guns.
Quickly through the Wolves lineup, Garnett, 21.5 points, 13 rebounds, 41 minutes. The other forward, Gary Trent. Gary comes in the game 20 minutes, 7 points, 5 boards. The center, Nesterovic, 12 points, 6 boards, 31 minutes. The backcourt, Troy Hudson, 14.5 points, 5 assists, 31 minutes. And the off guard, Kendall Gill, 10 points, 4 boards, 30 minutes. The officials tonight, Michael Smith, Duke Callahan, and David Jones. First of 4 meetings between the Wolves and Suns. Suns win last night. They beat the Cavaliers on a night when Marbury did a great job defensively on Ricky Davis. Steph's defense much improved the last couple of years. Garnett, Williams, tap easily won by Kevin. Wolves work in front of their bench, going right to left here in this first half. Excellent crowd at the Target Center. Hudson, right elbow, pass to Gill, post up big ticket, square up on Williams, baseline and the trip on Scott Williams. Not intentional, but they have to make that call once Kevin fell down. This Phoenix team, you think of them offensively, right, when you have those great players, as we just talked about, but 7th in the league defensively, giving up just 89.6 a night. Garnett inbound pass Hudson, looking for Kevin on a post-up. Kevin gets it baseline left from Trent, backs down Marion, fakes middle, up and under, at the rack, clean block by Amari Stoudemire. What about that debut? Stoudemire denying Kevin right at the summit. On the drive, Steph off the window, miss it short. Stoudemire tips it in. Welcome, Minnesota fans, seeing Amari Stoudemire in action.
And that's what he does right there, block shots and offensive rebounds to basketball.
Quick double team of Garnett. Kevin spreads the floor, right corner, pass in the lane, Rasho missed the shot. Rebound fell in the lap of Stoudemire. Here comes Penny, handles the ball a lot, and they run Steph off a lot of screens. Penny, bounce pass, Stoudemire catching the slam. Wow. Wow, what a start. 4-zip. The Suns on top. We're 1 minute in. Corner left, it's Garnett. Garnett, diagonal pass, top of the key, Rasho. Rasho looked off Kevin, goes left wing, Gary, missed the shot. Rebound goes Hardaway. Penny, no knee problems this year. And inside, a whistle called on Trent, trying to slow down Amari Stoudemire.
Amari Stoudemire, you know, talking with Eddie Johnson, he is right, Eddie is, about in terms of skill sets. He doesn't really have skill sets right now. Does not have defined moves in the low block. Is not a great perimeter jump shooter, but just knows how to use his body and is an energy guy and finds seams in defense.
Speaking of energy, Marbury has it, corner right. Swing it back to the Matrix. Marion shooting so many more threes this year than an air ball. We back that up with some numbers. Last year, total season, Shawn Marion attempted 122 threes. That number 117 this year.
Wow.
4-zip. Suns on top. We're a minute 40 in. Hudson bounce pass, big ticket. Kevin the three comes up short. Stoudemire that right-handed rebound. He'll come up with all those one-handed rebounds. His hands, folks, are just enormous. Marbury, left wing, lob to Marion. fake the three, dribble elbow, 20-foot shot, missed the shot. Garnett box out Stoudemire, and Kevin, the number 2 rebounder in the game, has that one. Hudson between his legs, can't get by Marbury, then throws a terrible pass right to Scott Williams. Numbers, watch out. Marbury drive on Garnett. Kevin right back at Stephon Marbury. Blocked that one off the floor right to Kendall Gill. Great block by Kevin. Gill, glass, missed it. Trent, put back, made it. Front court, Marbury finds Marion. 4-2, Suns on top. Now Stoudemire has it, rotates left side outside the arc, Penny. Marbury looking off the screen. Hardaway will post up Stoudemire. Square up on Trent, jump hook shot. He doesn't have skill sets? What skill sets is Eddie Johnson talking about that? A very good jump stop, jump hook, and Stoudemire has 6. Baseline Gill, open shot, came out, rebound inside. Gary Trent lost it, but then a foul called, and that's number 2 on Scott Williams.
Well, Gary Trent, not a great post-up defensive player, but that time Stoudemire just overpowered Gary, has a size advantage too, can also jump over the top, and this Phoenix Suns team has some pretty good athletes. Penny Hardaway, not the athlete that he used to be, but between Stephon Marbury, Shawn Marion, and Stoudemire, Amari Stoudemire, they have 3 guys that can really beat you in multiple different ways. Stephon Marbury, a great penetrator, can also shoot the outside shot, but Marion, one of the best leapers in the NBA.
Hudson gets an inbound pass, puts up a 3, misses that shot. Jake Voskuhl just replaced Williams. He corrals the rebound. Marbury going left, turn the corner, in the lane, hand off to Voskuhl. Rasho knocked it away. Stoudemire tracks it down baseline. Amari the drive, and who's that on? Let's see.
Should be a block on Rasho, I would imagine.
Yes, it is. That's the call. Block on Nesterovic.
You think about great leapers in the league, Chad. Shawn Marion is right there up towards the top of the list. He can really get on his pogo stick.
Where's Stoudemire? Not far behind, Pete. A couple of the dunks I've seen the last couple of weeks watching the Suns.
Yeah, he's a power jumper, but Marion has that sort of, that's what they call him, the Matrix. It's almost unreal how high he can get up in the air.
We'll start the game 1 of 8 from the field. Suns are 3 of 7. Marbury double team. Top of the key, Voskuhl square up, take the long range shot, missed that shot. Garnett the rebound. Hardaway mistimed his jump. Garnett half court pass, Hudson. Hudson slowed down by Marbury. Stop and go, jump in the air, bounce pass inside. Bad pass right to Voskuhl. Hudson turnovers last minute. Hardaway running the floor, finds Stoudemire, the catch in the lane. Had it cleanly stripped by Trent, but Gary, when he stripped it, was standing out of bounds.
Yeah, his heels were right on the baseline that time. Nice strip by Trent. Stoudemire had a sure dunk that time. Little lob past him under the basket. Defense was there. Trent stripped it, but his heels were on the baseline.
A poor offensive start for the Wolves. 3 turnovers and 1 of 8 from the field. Saunders timeout, 6-2. Phoenix leads, 8:20 left first quarter. You're listening to Wolves basketball.
Rogers books a non-stop flight and pays with his U.S. Bank check card. What a heads-up move! He's earning serious cash back, folks. Score cash every time you make a purchase with your U.S. Bank check card. Stop by your local U.S. Bank, call 1-800-720-BANK, or visit usbank.com and take off with checking that pays. Only from U.S. Bank. Member FDIC. Get Timberwolves checking with checking that pays. Only at U.S. Bank.
Let's take a look at tonight's lineup. Despite their lack of size, they are physically dominating. While their perimeter game is marginal, their inside skills are extraordinary. And college credentials, absolutely impeccable. They are the doctors of the Orthopedic Center, the official team doctors of the Wolves. Veterans who routinely go one-on-one with the top NBA players. Leading-edge sports medicine is accessible to every athlete, treating you just like the pros. The Orthopedic Center.
Where do you find it? Tell me, where do you find it?
Where do I find health insurance that lets me choose my own doctor and hospital?
Under one roof.
You'll find it under the American Family Insurance roof. Flexibility is why thousands feel much better with American Family. So where do you find all your protection under one roof?
American Family Insurance.
For the American Family agent nearest you, see the white or yellow pages.
(6-2), Suns on top. 3:40 into this first quarter. Suns at 19-11, Wolves at 16 and 14. Nobody makes a change off that timeout. Hardaway inbound pass, corner. to Steph, get the screen, rotate the ball opposite corner to Hardaway. Post up inside, intended for Stoudemire, knocked away by Rasho. Pete, tell me about Saunders in the huddle that last break.
Last time I talked about pick and roll situations, they went a green, which is a double team that time, and Minnesota did not do a good job of rotating out of their double teams. Also offensively play inside out.
Marion, inbound pass, goes to Hardaway, missed the shot. Stoudemire the rebound. Baseline pass to Marion, banging off the glass too strong. Rebound Penny, jump hook is made. Wow, was that a rebounding display by Hardaway and Stoudemire. 8-2. Suns on top, and the Suns have out-rebounded the Wolves 8-4. Hudson top of the key, Nesterovich. Lob, Kevin. Catch inside, blocked and fouled from behind. That's a play they worked on a lot at shooter on today. They think Rasho on the high lob to Kevin, the way the Suns front Garnett on the baseline from the wing pass.
Right.
They think go to Rasho, and you can find Kevin on the lock and lock.
And, you know, when you say play inside out, that means you bring the ball inside, you pass it inside to your post players, you make them double team, make some sort of defensive adjustment, then play back out. If you can have a double team situation, someone on the perimeter is going to be open. The thing you don't want to do is come down in transition, shoot jump shots, and put your team at a disadvantage. You're in a push-up game that time. And, you know, I think a running game really favors Phoenix in this matchup with Stephon Marbury and Troy Hudson.
Garnett makes them both. Wolves still 1 of 8. Suns 4 of 12. Suns on top 8-4. Marbury 28 points or more 6 times this year. Marbury looking to post up Hardaway. Lob to Penny, lost it right in the lap of Trent. Trent hands off to Hudson. Hudson back to Gary. Gary looking for Gill on a baseline pass. Instead goes to Kevin. Kevin hand off to Kendall. KG will set a screen. Garnett gets the lob back from Gill. Garnett snaps it off to Hudson, opposite side. 3, and it's good for Troy Hudson. Everything was on the left side. That left Troy open on the opposite side, and Troy made the shot 8-7. Wolves down by a point. Great crossover by Marbury. Left corner to Penny. Penny wants the one-on-one with Garnett. Lob to Stoudemire, right-handed catch, and the quick slam by Amari Stoudemire. Those big hands allow him to catch passes which are a little bit off direction. 10-7, Suns on top. Garnett in the corner to Hudson. Garnett then sets the screen. Kevin wants the ball back. Instead, they rotate to Gill. Shot clock down to 6. Post up Rasho. Off the glass. Great move. He lost Stoudemire on the ball fake.
The double team up the pick and roll that time. Left Rasho wide open. He flashed. No one found him, but they found him on the other side of the floor. He made a nice move.
10-9. Suns on top, and the Suns turn it over. Kendall Gill. Ooh, either a walk or a foul on Voskalis. Gill tried to go by him, and the foul on the third-year man from UConn. Well, Joe Smith will come in, and Gary Trent will sit down.
Joe's got a heavy wrap on his left ankle. Only played 3 minutes in Chicago, played barely at all in Detroit.
3 in Detroit also.
Limped off the floor, was not even a factor in the ball game, and looks like Joe's limping a little bit here early on in this ball game too.
High split, Hudson, lob to Garnett. Garnett back to Hudson in the corner, count it, foul called, and Troy Hudson with 5 straight points and a chance for 6 if the free throw is made, and Minnesota grabs their first lead at 11-10. Marbury the foul. A lot of treatment for Joe last couple days. Those ankle injuries, Pete, they can hang around for a while.
Yes, they can. It can be very bothersome. Joe Smith has had other problems so far this year. Had the groin pull, of course, that kept him out of a lot of ball games early on the season.
Free throw made by Troy. That's 6 in a row for Troy, and the Wolves on top, 12-10. Couple screens for Marbury, top of the key, swing it to Penny. Penny the 3, miss it short, rebound Garnett. Wolves on a 10-2 run. Hudson feeling it, pull up, count it. Heat check working for Hudson. That one about 18 feet away, and Hudson gives the Wolves a 4-point lead. 14-10 Minnesota. Marbury explodes down the lane, off the window, too strong, and a foul called. That's a clear out on Marbury.
Yep.
Second foul on Steph with 5:37 left, and that'll send Steph to the bench.
Yes,
that's 2 fouls in the last 20 seconds.
That's a big play. I mean, that's a huge play for Minnesota to get the second foul on Stephon Marbury so early. Charging calls are also turnovers, and that's one thing that the Phoenix Suns have done a lot of so far this season, 21st in the NBA in turnovers. Minnesota only 6th, but lately Phoenix has not turned the ball over that much, and that's one of the reasons why they've been 9-1.
Hudson finally a miss in the corner. Joe the rebound. Everybody suffocating Joe, so he found Gill. His shot made. Minnesota right now on a 10-zip run. And Frank Johnson has to take a timeout. Timeout taken. Sean Marion the timeout. Great recovery by the Wolves in this quarter. 16-10. Minnesota on top. 5:14 left first quarter, leading the Suns on the Wolves Radio Network.
It's time to shake up the holidays and unwrap something special from Chevy. Now, qualified buyers get 0% APR for 60 months on 2003 Chevy SUVs like Tahoe, Suburban, Trailblazer, and Trailblazer EXT. Or drive home with $3,000 total cash back on select 2003 Chevy cars and trucks like Malibu, Impala, Cavalier, Silverado, and Avalanche. That's 0% APR financing for 60 months on 2003 Chevy SUVs. Or get $3,000 total cash back on select cars and trucks. Monthly payment is $1,667 for every $1,000 you finance. Average example down payment 12.7%. Some customers will not qualify. See dealer for details. Cash offer includes $1,000 bonus cash. Take delivery by January 2nd, 2003. So make your money count while there's still time. Just like the holidays, an offer like this won't last forever. Hurry. This $3,000 total cash back offer ends January 2nd. See your select Heartland Chevy dealers today.
It usually starts with a crumpled up sheet of paper and a waste paper basket, just daring you to take the shot. Next thing you know, you're going for a tray with a washcloth in the kitchen sink or slam dunking your undies into the bedroom hamper. That's why Rainbow Foods is so thrilled to support these Timberwolves games. Because in this country, anyone with a dream or a laundry basket and a rolled up pair of socks can be a basketball superstar, if only in their minds. Rainbow Foods, proud sponsor of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Sixth annual Gatorade Timberwolves Shootout presented by Waste Management, the U.S. Army, that returns on Saturday, January 25th. Shootout consists of 5 games, top-ranked Minnesota teams in each class, nationally ranked opponents, and over 20 Division I players. Tickets start at $10 right at the door here at the Target Center. Nice run from Minnesota after Phoenix grabbed the early 6-point lead. Now the Wolves on top by 6. Hardaway. Joe Johnson now in. Jake Voskuhl. Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire. Minnesota goes zone first time tonight. Penny left corner. Marion screen by Voskuhl. Shot made by Sean. What about its jump shot, Pete?
Well, he's not been good here early, but Sean Marion can get it going from the outside. Definitely a streak shooter, but has kind of a weird release, but he definitely is effective.
It's lower, right?
It's a low release, below his shoulders almost.
16-12, Garnett spinning the lane. Great jump hook pass to Joe. Joe just can't get up in the air, so he misses the leader, but Kevin grabs it and makes the jump hook with his right arm well above the pack. 18-12. Minnesota on top of the Suns with 4:35 left in this first quarter. Again, that 3-2 zone with Kevin at the top. Hardaway, pass intended for a teammate. Instead went to another teammate, Marion. Marion and Hardaway play catch. Marion 15-foot shot long. Rebound weak side of Hudson. Hudson in front court. He's going to challenge Joe Johnson. Crossover Johnson, the second-year player from Arkansas, stayed right with him. Post up big ticket. Kevin doubled right away. Same side pass Joe. Fake the pass. Take the shot. Missed the shot. Rebound. Goes to Nesterovic, and then he lost it out of bounds. Last 4 boards, by the way, Minnesota's way. Casey Jacobson, rookie from Stanford. He's in. Penny Hardaway will sit down.
Eddie Johnson was really happy with the way that Casey Jacobson's been playing. He plays with a lot of energy, which is one thing he said Joe Johnson needs to do a little bit more. As a young player, he plays a little bit too passively, and both Casey Jacobson and Amari Stoudemire play with a lot of energy.
Watching the Suns lately, Pete. Jacobson plays late in games. Yeah. Jacobson bounce pass to Marion, then a push-off foul on Phoenix. That on Voskuhl. That's another big guy with 2 fouls, right? Williams already on the bench with 2. That foul on Voskuhl gives him 2. And so Bo Outlaw will come in, and free throws will be shot by Joe Smith.
Bo Outlaw's been a thorn in Minnesota's side in the past. He's done a very good job rebounding the basketball, pick and roll situations, been rolling to the basket in years past and really hurt Minnesota on the inside.
Well, a chance to be a couch potato right here at the Target Center. Register at Becker Furniture World, Timberwolves.com, or at BeckerFurnitureWorld.com for your chance to sit in the Becker Furniture World couch, located just feet from the players during every home game.
Casey Jacobson, 6'6" guard, 215 out of Stanford, averaging 6 points a game, 1 rebound.
Joe, free throws both made. Last couple games, though, that production going up for Casey Jacobson. Played extensive last night against Cleveland. Those minutes going up with no Marion. 2012, Minnesota by 8. Here is Jacobson, man-on-man with Hudson. Outlaw the screen. Jacobson the drive. Left wing go to Marion. Right-hand dribble drive on Kevin. Blocked by Rasho. Loose ball went back to Kevin. 3:30 left. Kevin, Nesterovic, and other side of the floor waiting for Hudson and Smith now. Offensive foul on Nesterovic.
Yeah, good sell by that time by Casey Jacobson. Rasho had him down in the torture chamber, and Casey Jacobson sold out that time, flew into the corner, flopped the play on Rasho. He's going to have to sit down. Mark Jackson back into the ball game. That's 2 on Rasho Nesterovic.
Now let's see how the Wolves will match up. Their decoy in the zone. Yeah, they're just going man-on-man. 2012, Minnesota on top, first quarter. 3:10 remaining. Joe Johnson, second-year player, going the corner, picked up by Smith. They'll double with Gill helping out. Elbow Stoudemire to the baseline, in the air, make another difficult shot. He is not awed by the process at all. 10 for Stoudemire, 4 rebounds, 5 of 6 from the field. Stoudemire's 5 of 6. The rest of the Suns are 2 of 13. Kevin, post up, shoot over Marion, missed the shot. Stoudemire collects rebound number 5. Wolves right now 7 of 18. The Suns at 7 of 19. Outlaw trying to hand off to Jacobson. Now he will hand off to Casey. Much bigger than Hudson, and an offensive foul, as Troy might have sold that one a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, as good as Joe is at stepping up outside the arc and drawing that charging call, Troy is every bit as good at, and on the court outside the arc in terms of three-point arc, at drawing that charge by just moving his feet, getting in front of the defender, squaring up, and then giving ground.
2014, Minnesota by 6. Post up Garnett, double team, same side, outside. No, just inside the arc. Hudson made the shot off the quick pass. 22-14. Marion, this little quick opportunity for Phoenix. He'll find Joe Johnson. Left side shot no good. Stoudemire tried to grab the rebound. He's fouled.
Joe Smith and Amari Stoudemire, very similar builds. They have kind of the same body structure. Amari Stoudemire, but plays more powerfully. I mean, just that play right there, the way Amari Stoudemire tried to slam that offensive tip back into the basket as he was fouled.
You don't think Stoudemire has a bigger upper body?
Just a little bit, slightly, not very much. I mean, look at him side by side. I mean, it isn't like he's markedly bigger than Joe Smith, but just the way he plays is more powerful.
Anthony Peeler comes in. Kendall Gill will sit down. Wolves by 8. Minnesota back in the zone. Johnson gets an outlaw screen in the corner, finds an open Marion, who explodes, and a nasty slam right in the grill of Mark Jackson. That's the high flying you were talking about.
That's right. That's the matrix right there. He drives that baseline and throws it down over the top with one hand. That's a dangerous place to be, too, if you're a defensive player. Under the basket when Sean Marion's dancing down the baseline. You don't want to be under the basket when Sean Marion's up above the rim.
No, you become a part of a poster.
That's right.
Rather quickly. 22-16 as Marion misses the free throw. Here's Mark trying to respond, missing a 15-foot shot. Offensive board, Joe missed that shot. Stoudemire wants the ball more than anybody, grabbing that rebound. Stoudemire then finds Jacobson, and Casey Jacobson walked. Jacobson had a great career at Stanford in just 3 years. That team played in a lot of big games. Mike Montgomery. 22-16, Minnesota on top of Phoenix. Top of the key, Mark Jackson the catch, missed the shot. Marion actually tapped the rebound away from Stoudemire, and then Smith knocked it out of bounds. 11-11 the rebounding. Garnett and Stoudemire each with 6.
It hurts when your bench players come in cold, too. Joe Smith 0 for 3, Mark Jackson 0 for 2. They've had good looks, too. Mark Jackson's had 2 open jump shots that he's missed.
No point guard on the floor for Phoenix. They're just letting Jacobson and Johnson handle the ball an awful lot. Jacobson, as Pete said, 6'6", big height advantage on Troy. Bounce pass, Stoudemire, drive, blocked cleanly, stripped by Jackson. Good block by Mark. Front court, Hudson on the right side, skipping the baseline. Back to Mark, and he's fouled on the penetration. And Mark Jackson at the line, foul on Marion. And Pete, going back to that Marion dunk, his ankle looked pretty good to me.
Yes, it did.
He didn't look like he was limping at all that time, did he?
He looked pretty good to me, too. Missed a game and a half. Did not play the last game against Cleveland last night. As you said, Casey Jacobson took up the slack in that ball game. Stephon Marbury was a pretty big factor in the ball game last night. Really, the defense was a story in that ball game. Really stifled, players on this Cleveland side by double teaming the basketball. As John Lucas said, nobody really got off. Ricky Davis held only 15 points in that ball game, and when their leading scorers held to that number, that's going to hurt them big time.
And with Marbury guarding him the majority of the time, Strickland just came in, and he fouls Jacobson, Mark Jackson with those 2 free throws, giving Minnesota an 8-point lead. But now Jacobson at the line. Wolves Family Pack presented by Rainbow Foods, available tonight. And the next time it's available, January 8th, Jason Richardson and the Warriors come to town. This is presented by Rainbow Foods. You get 4 hot dogs, 4 Pepsis, 4 boxes of hot tamales, 4 Dairy Queen Blizzard coupons, and a $5 Rainbow Foods gift certificate. Jacobson and Johnson, they should be playing together, Pete, because they are a part of the same trade, the Tony Delk, Rodney Rogers trade, when Johnson came over for a #1 draft choice from Boston, and that turned out to be Casey Jacobson. That's right. And Rodney Rogers is not playing for Boston.
And now Casey just missed 2 free throws. Stanford guys don't do that.
I wonder if Casey can dance any worse than Mark Madsen. Not possible. 45 seconds left in this opening quarter. Peeler between the circle, Strickland. Right back to AP. AP off to Rod, short, cross the key pass. That shot was 4 feet short of the hoop.
Rod's played in his 1,000th
by
game.
the way, off Phoenix.
That's right. Tap that time by Joe Johnson. Rod played in his 1,000th game, last ball game against Detroit. What a big milestone for him. In pretty good company, too. Not too many point guards have played 1,000 games in this league.
Shot clock at 2. Garnett inbound pass, Rod. Dribble drive, scoop the layup, and make it. Great read of the shot clock and a good comeback by Rod. 10-point Minnesota lead. Stoudemire up in the air. He was so high that shot was on the way down when he shot it, and Stoudemire is the one Sun who's answered the bell. He has 12 points, 6 rebounds, and the Wolves lead by 8. Shot clock right now at 11. Game clock at 17. Minnesota on top. Strickland the ball. Phoenix does not have a foul to give. Rod gets a Garnett screen. Right corner, Joe. Joe back to Rod. Rod lean in 3. Miss it. Rebound, Joe Smith. At the glass. Missed the shot. Jackson missed another one. Joe Smith swings out the Peeler at the buzzer. No good. Offensive boards plentiful for Minnesota at the end, but they could not convert. Pete, how about this? You shoot 9 of 27. Bo Outlaw and Stephon Marbury. Marbury left with 2 fouls. Those 2 fouls came with 5:37 left in the opening quarter. Lange against the Minnesota zone with Garnett at the top. Between the circles, back to Marbury. Marbury trying to get by Strickland. Right wing goes to Lange. Missed the shot. Kevin with the board. Ooh, could have called a push off. Kevin had 2 hands on the back of Bo Outlaw. Garnett up to 7 rebounds. Strickland, left wing goes to Peeler. AP, bounce pass, good pass to Jackson. Cleanly stripped inside by Phoenix. Turnovers, by the way, 5 for Phoenix, 3 for Minnesota. Jacobson bounce, elbow right, Stoudemire. Stoudemire squaring up on Smith. Drive, Joe take the charge, and that's the foul on Amari, his first. Your ankle must be pretty good if you can beat Amari Stoudemire to that spot.
Amari wants to go right. There's no question about it. So Joe just shaded him, gave him a little space that time. Amari took the bait that time. Joe moved in there quickly, as you said, and did a nice job squaring up and getting outside the arc.
50 seconds into this second quarter. Wolves on top 26-18. Trying to find Garnett, and Dan Lange whistle for a foul. Can Dan Lange guard Kevin Garnett?
Well, he's about 6'4" at shoulder height, but then you add the neck and the head on there, he's about 7'1". So
angular.
he's got
a long neck.
He's got a very long neck.
He does. He has a neck. You notice how long it is. 1 minute in. Mark Jackson fouled by Joe Smith. Inside layup made. Mark just backed Outlaw underneath the hoop so he couldn't block his shot.
Like one of my turtlenecks looks like a mock neck on Dan Lange.
Left corner, Jacobson missed the 3. Rebound, Joe Smith. Joe's getting all his plays with position, not athletic plays or leaping tonight. Joe has the jumper if he wants it at the top. Instead, passes in the corner, and Strickland and Garnett miscommunicate, and it goes out of bounds on a turnover.
I mean, Joe did have the jumper early. He should have just taken it in rhythm. He got the ball from the left side, and he came popped up from the left elbow and just popped right there. He should have just taken that shot. Tried making a difficult pass to Kevin. Both he and Rod went to the corner to try to recover it. Each thought the other was going to grab it. Nobody did.
All right, KG out, 28-18. Suns on top. Free throw line, Marbury finds Outlaw, cutting baseline. Jacobson blocked, and Mike Callahan with the call. Couple Wolves up in the air, foul on Mark Jackson. You know what stands out to me about Jacobson, Pete? How active he is. When I think of him at Stanford, I thought he just got all his shots, because they had other good players and they would just space him out, but he runs the floor very well.
Yep. Good athlete. I mean, he hustle guy. He's got pretty good skill sets.
He's quick.
He's a little more skilled Judd Bushler. I mean, about the same size as Judd, kind of the same body style.
Way better score.
Way better score. That's right. But Judd, Judd was a pretty decent college basketball player as well. And
this guy had 1,800 points in 3 years. I mean, Judd Bushler, you're right.
Just saying, by looking at him, though, they have the same kind of body style.
Yep.
Same size.
Mark Jackson, elbow jumper, good. After Jacobson made the free throw, so it's 30-20. Minnesota on top. Minnesota doing a good job double team Marbury on the floor, and Marbury throws it to a former teammate, Kendall Gill, who punches it home with the left hand, and then Kendall gives a wink back to his buddy Marbury. 32-20. Frank Johnson calls the timeout. Minnesota on top. 9:44 left in this first half. Wolves so far in control since the first 3 minutes. You're listening to Wolves basketball.
It's a beautiful day here as Phillips pulls up to the gas pump and pulls out his U.S. Bank check card. What a nice move. He swipes the card.
already with 4 free throw attempts back at the line. Shows you how a team can rebuild through the draft quickly.
Yeah.
They had Stoudemire and Jacobson. They missed the playoffs for the first time in 13 years. And all of a sudden the Phoenix Suns are 19-11.
That's right. I mean, you know, just the fact that, you know, it's fate almost. You know, what happened in the draft before when those 2 young guys, Tyson Chandler, Eddie Curry, came out and didn't do very well, and Casey Jacobson goes one of 2 from the line. Minnesota up 32-21 to go, 9:27 to go in the second period. But those guys not playing well made this possible for Amari Stoudemire to drop to number 9.
Gill, Peeler playing catch. Gill has it at the top. Baseline pass, Lauren. Lauren against Stoudemire. Double team, reach in, knock away. Marbury knocked it off Lauren Woods. Marbury made that play right in front of his sister Stephanie, who's here watching the game courtside. Steph's family used to come here all the time when he played for the Wolves. Marbury a shot finally. Here in this second quarter, missed that pull-up 20 feet away. Marbury's 0 for 3 so far, yet to score, 1 rebound, no assists. Strickland, lob, opposite baseline, Gill, catch, shot made. Pete, the lead is 13.
Well, Steph was with Kendall on the strong side, and he just back cut, and Woods just gave him a little back pick that time. Steph never went, nobody followed him, and Kendall was wide open.
34-21 Minnesota. Marion between the circles, Jacobson playing catch with Amari from the elbow, spins left, and it's good.
I'm with you. Looks like Amari's got some pretty nice moves to me.
I don't know what Eddie Johnson's talking about. He says he has no moves. You've seen a variety of moves. Deflection through the hands of Woods goes to Gill, and Lauren wants an assist on that one.
That was a touch pass.
Yeah.
That was no.
He sensed where he was. Wolves now making 5 straight field goals, bumping that percentage up to 42%, leading by 13. 8 minutes left in this first half. Handoff, Marbury explodes off the glass, missed the shot. Stoudemire rebound. Oh my gosh! What a slam by Stoudemire. That's filthy. That is absolutely filthy on that dunk. 36-25. Gill, 3, made it. That's better. I mean, an unbelievable dunk by Amari. That's 2 though. Make the 3 by Kettle. Kind of like when the Wolves played Boston, when Kevin would have all these great slams, and then Celtics would come down and make 3-point shots. 39-25. Minnesota lead. Marion inside. He'll make a layup. He's another guy who can get so high in the air. Now a delay a game on Phoenix. And oh, by the way, Amari Stoudemire, he's played the whole game. 16 points, 7 rebounds.
Only 1 personal foul. As aggressively as he's been rebounding the basketball and playing defense, he's only got 1 personal foul. He's a man. There's no question about that. I like the way he plays the game. And, you know, you interviewed him before. Very personable young man, very well-spoken and very composed.
Looks you in the eye, very friendly. Maybe the last time we talked to him because we had a superstar by the time the next game.
That's right, exactly.
Wolves turn it over. Phoenix the other way. Jacobson to Stoudemire, fakes right, goes left, high off the window, missed the shot. Outlaw tips, rebound Stoudemire, and a reach-in, good play by Rod Strickland. Rod, left side, dribbling right, finds Peeler to Cutter, blocked out of bounds with the left hand by Bo Outlaw.
You had Amari Stoudemire on before. I just was reminded of Vince Carter. Remember the first time we went to Toronto during the exhibition season? We had Vince Carter on before the game and after the game. And that's the last time we've had Vince Carter on, hasn't it? His first year.
I'll tell you what, we can get him on now. Plays about as much as I do now.
That just goes to show you, though, guys, you know, they come in so humble as young players, and you can interview them before, and then all of a sudden, once they get a little success, they don't do interviews before the game, and they sure as heck, once, you know, they won't come out after the game either once they become stars. So
what about this? Marbury going back down to the bench. Frank Johnson not happy about something. 6:58 left, and Steph right back to the bench. Marbury scoreless tonight. Randy Brown in the game. Anthony Peeler, top of the key, catch the shot, missed the shot. Rebound, Sean Marion. Wolves with the rebounding advantage, 19-15. Randy Brown, Amari Stoudemire, Bo Outlaw, Penny Hardaway, and Sean Marion, and now a foul inside. Is that on Rasho? He just came back in the game, and he'll get the foul 8 seconds later, and he'll have to sit back down.
Right box was unoccupied that time, and Bo Outlaw and Penny were playing a little cat and mouse on top, and Amari was trying to come back and post Rasho on the strong side. Rasha was just following him all the way across the lane, didn't ever release him, and Amari, good body contact that time, not releasing Rasha, and created the foul.
39-27. Little ISO for Marion, so much bigger than Peeler. They'll have to help. He'll skip it to Penny. Inside the arc, 2-point shot, made it. Penny's making shots this year, folks. Penny is a productive player this season after a major flame out the last couple of years in Phoenix. Wolves lead is 10. Kevin, right side of the floor, made it. Jackson found him. Just past the elbow. Big ticket now, 2 of 5, 6 points, 3 assists, and 7 boards. 41-29. Hardaway screen behind the back to Outlaw, bounce to Stoudemire. Another slam, this one with 2 hands. And you just could see it coming seconds away, Pete. 18 in the first half for Amari Stoudemire, and Saunders with the timeout. 41-31. Minnesota by 10, leading the Suns. 5:52 remains. This is the Wolves Radio Network.
Hot tamales are America's favorite cinnamon-flavored candy. They're the candy that sizzles when you chew it. Hot tamales, the original chewy family.
Right now the storyline is the Wolves as a team against Amari Stoudemire. Amari Stoudemire has 18 points. The rest of the Suns have 13. For Minnesota, it's balance. 8 guys on the board. Gill 11, Hudson 10, and bottom line, the Wolves by 10. That's the margin, 41-31, 5:50 left in this first half. Peeler, Hudson, Garnett, Jackson, and Gill. Kevin catches on the right, goes left, and ooh, that's a very close call going Garnett's way. They call the foul on Bo Outlaw. Thought Bo got a lot of the ball that time, Pete.
Well, Davy Jones is saying that what happened that time was a little head was being called that time, a little knock in the head that time on the block shot.
What's that?
Knock in the head that time, you know what I'm saying.
Oh, I think I do.
Bo Outlaw knocked him in the forehead that time.
I see. Be sure to check out UPN 29 Saturday when the Wolves take on Malone, Stockton, and the Jazz. Action from this building starts at 7 on UPN 29.
Gary Trent back in, Anthony Peeler back down. Backcourt's carrying Minnesota right now. Much like that Detroit game. Backcourt in Detroit was pretty darn good.
Yeah, Billups and Hamilton were great, especially in the third quarter when they blew the game out. Big ticket knocks them both down. Garnett is 4 for 4 at the line, 8 points, 7 boards, 3 assists. Brown, Hardaway, Outlaw, Marion, and Stoudemire. Minnesota in the zone, somebody in the lane, 3 seconds. And it's Gary Trent. Wolves with the second most 3-second defensive violations in the game. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, Pete, but I would guess 80% of them minimum by Trent and Nesterovic.
Yeah.
Right?
Nesterovic more because, you know, he's having to come across from the weak side back over to the strong side to be the extra defender on the strong side. Gary Trent sometimes just gets lost in the defensive scheme and doesn't know exactly where to be and just finds himself in the painted area.
Marion free throw made. 43-32. Randy Brown, right corner to Penny. Wolves in the zone. Penny so much taller than Hudson. He'll turn, shoot right over him, and make the 15-foot shot. Just recognized it right away.
Yep.
He was isolated in that zone, made the shot, and Minnesota's lead is 9. Trent, corner left, finds Jackson. Back to Gary, free throw line. Dribble, strip, stolen by Randy Brown. Look ahead, Amari Stoudemire. Here comes another dunk. This one a punch-out, reverse, right-handed dunk. What else can he do in this first half to dazzle the fans?
Well, he could play a little more defense, but offensively, he has been the man right now. 20 points for Amari Stoudemire on 10 of 13 shooting, and most of those have been dunks.
The slam dunk competition is broken out here in the first half of Amari Stoudemire against the Wolves. But it's true, as he can play a little D, and now he did, as he knocked it away from Kevin and out of bounds. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he's not really rattled by the NBA at this point. What do you think?
I agree with you, big time.
He's matched his season high of 20. Garnett, inbound pass, Trent, outside to Troy. What a deep three made by Troy. Wow, was that outside? That was 26 feet away. Troy Hudson made that shot.
He was almost in your lap when he shot that one.
46-36. Minnesota by 10 now. Foul called on Kendall Gill. Fourth team first on Kendall. Wolves will just go man on man off this defensive sequence. Watching from the side is Marbury. Marbury's played just 12 minutes in this first half. Into Stoudemire, hang in the air, draw the foul on Garnett.
Boy, it's like Sean Marion and Amari Stoudemire are playing on a 9-foot hoop, and the rest of everybody else is playing on an 11-foot hoop.
Okay, now what do you think about Stoudemire leaping compared to Marion? I mean,
the way those two guys are jumping around. I mean, that doesn't the basket look lower for those two guys? I mean, it is just night and day compared to everybody else on the floor.
It's like me at home against Hunter and Griffin when I'm just schooling them on Nerf hoop and I just talk trash to them.
Oh, yeah. And you get mean-spirited, too, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. And then if they score on me,
push them down.
I send them to timeout right away. Instantly. Stoudemire, free throws. 1 and 2. It's a remarkable story, too, folks. He went to 6 different high schools. You know, he's from Central Florida. He watched the Magic play and a lot of other issues in his life we'll talk about in a little bit. 48-37. Kendall Gill drive, ran over Amari Stoudemire, who took the charge.
You know, I think that, you know,
and
listening.
People probably won't talk about that as much, but that's a good play.
Yes, it is. Very smart play. You know, talking, you know, listening to Bill Walton talk, you know, he says that college isn't for everybody, and I agree to a certain degree. I think that Amari Stoudemire is probably one of those guys. I mean,
now Kevin, I believe, whistled for a holding foul
on Sean Marion. Sean Marion trying to get open that time, trying to pop out in the left wing.
It's 2 fouls on Kevin in a blink of an eye.
Right.
Similar to what happened to Marbury in the first half. The other horrible note on Stoudemire's issues with his inner family. His father died when he was 12 years old, and his mother and brother spent time in jail. Bounced around the country, persevered through this. A number of national profiles on him last year, including a great one done by HBO's Real Sports. Because of the personal issues, because of the problems with the high school kids last year, he drops to 9, and I think the Phoenix Suns are fairly happy. Free throws converted by Marion. Marion, his total up to 8. Phoenix zone, Kevin front court, Trent. Baseline pass to Kendall, off the glass and in. 48-38. Minnesota by 10. 3:40 left in this first half. Minnesota man on man. Left wing Marion, ISO with big ticket. Top of the key, Randy Brown. Handoff Stoudemire, goes left from 10. Shot doesn't go in, gets his own rebound. He's triple teamed off the glass, made it. Foul called, and the entire Phoenix bench standing up in amazement as this performance put on by Stoudemire now has 23 in the first half.
Well, Yao Ming is going to make the All-Star game just because of the sheer fact that, you know, all the Chinese population is eligible to vote in the NBA All-Star game. And Amari Stoudemire, if Yao Ming makes it, Amari Stoudemire should make it as well. I know it's you know, impossible to figure out in terms of the numbers. There's so many great power forwards in the Western Conference, but I'll tell you what, pretty hard pressed to find a better power forward, at least in this ball game, than Amari Stoudemire.
Yeah, but he missed the free throw. I mean, come on. 48-40. Minnesota on top. Big ticket. 4 guys around him. Off the glass, too strong. Get the rebound back. Kevin inside, and he's fouled. And Kevin feeding off the play of Stoudemire, and now he wants to go back. And Garnett, Jackson, Stoudemire, Marion, all talking. Big ticket screaming as he came out of that pack. Randy Brown coming over, trying to calm Kevin down, and Kevin wants no part of it. And a 20-second timeout taken by Minnesota.
Let me tell you something. If I had Amari Stoudemire, a choice between him and Chris Webber, I'm taking Amari Stoudemire.
Well, you know how I feel about Chris Webber. I think Chris Webber's a very good player. I've never viewed Chris Webber as the superstar that a lot of people have.
If I had a choice between Rasheed Wallace and Amari Stoudemire, I'm taking Amari Stoudemire. There are very few players in this Western Conference right now that I would take over Amari Stoudemire.
Well, we have to note this is the half of his career. There's no doubt. But there are no signs that this is a flash. I mean, he already has his career high in this first half. And his numbers have just gone up as the season has gone along. And the forgotten man is Tom Gugliotta, the off-injured former Timberwolf. And Googs is on the injured list with a bruised foot. And Googs is a great guy, but guess what, Googs? The starting power forward position has been filled.
That's right. It's the point of no return. And, I based that just basically from what I say. When I first saw Amari Stoudemire play, and I saw him play about 3 or 4 times early in the season, you just see guys that are special, Chad. I mean, you've seen it a million times. I mean, in this league since you've been doing this job, you see guys that are just special.
Well, it's like Kevin's breakout rookie game against Houston. He had a game here at the Target Center where Kevin just dominated the second half.
And you could see the
greatness. And you walked away from that and you said, this guy's not good. This guy is great. It's just, when is it going to happen?
Yeah, my first year in the league, I mean, I came in with Akeem Olajuwon. I played with Ralph Sampson in his second year. Came in the league with Michael Jordan. You could just see those guys were just special and different, and Amari Stoudemire has all of those attributes.
Big ticket makes them both. They had to attend to a cut on Kevin's arm. Marbury back in. Wolves lead by 10.
And they finally set Stoudemire down for the first time.
50-40. Garnett steals the ball from Hardaway. Kevin front court to Hudson. Same corner pass to Gill. Post up inside. Kevin triple team. Outside, pass the ball to Gill. Kevin wants it on the repost. Instead, rotate to Peeler, skip to Garnett. Missed the alley-oop, but the deflection went to Smith. He'll miss it inside. Stay with it. And that time, Joe made the dunk.
And I think Amari Stoudemire has raised the bar in this ball game. Both Kevin and Joe are out here now playing with a little more attitude.
You know Kevin is aware of what Amari Stoudemire is doing on this floor and how the fans are reacting, and Kevin wants to respond. 52-40. Minnesota by 12. That's the most important point. As great as Stoudemire has been, the Wolves lead by 12 as Marbury dribbles out of bounds. And it's a nightmare half for Steph. Timeout. 2:15 remains. 52-40. Wolves lead the Suns. We'll return on the Wolves Radio Network.
When it comes to being
Entertaining first half with the Wolves responding to Amari Stoudemire, and Minnesota with 3 players in double figures. Garnett 10, Gill 13, Hudson 13, and Joe Smith just made an 18-foot shot right side of the floor. And Joe Smith, whenever he's been on the floor, Minnesota a huge plus-minus advantage. 54-40, Wolves on top. And oh, by the way, this man with the basketball hasn't scored. It's Marbury. Off to Marion. Leaner for 14. Barely grazed iron. Garnett's looking at a double-double in the first half. Kevin grabs his 9th rebound. 1:35 remains. Hudson by Marbury. By Williams. Baseline pass deflected. Goes out of bounds with the shot clock at 13. Jim Pete will take your calls in 5 minutes. The man who said Amari Stoudemire could not play in the NBA. 612-673-0920. Hudson inbound pass, catches it off to Peeler, off to Kevin. He's double teamed. Kevin steps out the arc. Baseline pass to Peeler, back to Joe, and a quick slam by Smith right over Sean Marion. And that's not easy to do because Marion is a phenomenal leaper. Joe Smith back on the floor, scores 6 straight, and the Wolves on an 8-0 run. Outlaw, skip to Hardaway, look off Marion, shot, missed, and goes over the backboard. 56-40, Wolves on top. Kevin's going to sit down, I would assume, because he has 2 fouls.
I like any time pick and roll situation, especially high pick and roll, sideline pick and rolls, when you double team those strong. Get the ball out of the point guard's hand, especially somebody creative like Stephon Marbury, but I don't care who it is. Get the ball out of that point guard's hand, make someone else beat you, make a Bo Outlaw make a shot. You know, make a Scott Williams make a shot. Don't let those guys beat you.
Woods in the game. Woods, Hudson, Smith, Gill, and Peeler. Right corner, it's Joe. Posting up is Lauren. Lauren wants it. Skip pass goes to Peeler. Soar up in the air. Catch that skip pass. AP drive. Jump in the air. Rotated outside. Kendall straight on 2. Short rebound, Outlaw. Front court, Marbury. Trailer, Marion. Watch out, leaning. Missed the shot. Taking the charge is Troy Hudson. And that foul on Marion will be his 2nd. Sean Marion's one of those guys, Pete, who gets in the air and leans and goes farther forward. Some guys with that leap and leaner, they don't go that far. He just glides through the air.
He catapults himself up and forward. You're right.
Trampoline-like.
Yes, he does.
All these great topics on the Phoenix forwards. And then, oh, by the way, the Wolves are up by 16. Because the Wolves are doing with 8-9 guys in this first half. This guy might be the star, though. Joe Smith missed the shot. Tip in. Is it Anthony Peeler?
Yes, it was.
Wow, that was a good tip in. AP coming from the baseline, tipped it in traffic, and now the Wolves on top by 18. Last shot time. Wolves do not have a foul to give. Marbury, bounce pass in the corner. Penny finds Marion. The 3 at the buzzer. No good. Great half for Minnesota, Jim. Really responded to Stoudemire at the end.
Yeah, I mean, Amari Stoudemire was the only guy who was able to operate. They really took away all the other options, which is to Minnesota's credit. So, and they stopped the perimeter drive that time, and Amari Stoudemire was the man.
8. Rebounds. Marbury, 15 minutes, 0 for 4 from the field, 1 rebound, 1 assist for Stephon Marbury. And Marbury also had 3 turnovers. Phoenix basketball, Wolves by 18. Marion, pass knocked right back to him by Garnett. Now Marion goes to Stoudemire, driving on Trent, and they'll call the charge on Amari Stoudemire. Good play by Gary on the baseline drive.
I think one of the things that Amari is going to be up against is, since he's been getting to the basket easily, he's going to want to get there all the time. And I think that's going to be the mistake he's going to make, is trying to get to the rim all the time, try to dunk everything, and versus just getting some kind of a basic jump shot to be able to kiss something off the glass or shoot something easily and not have to get all the way to the rim every time.
Troy Hudson played a very good first half. He'll dribble front court. Minnesota in the motion offense. Garnett post up baseline turn from 12. Shot well short. Rebound Marion. Marion in front court. No signs of that ankle injury so far. Top of the key, Marbury. Rare isolation drive. Teardrop shot. Rim out. Rebound Rasho. Rasho trying to stay on the floor. He has 3 fouls. Front court Gill. Challenge Penny. Knock away cleanly off Kendall Gill, and Anthony Hardaway backpedaling. Made a nice move knocking it off the left knee of Minnesota. Hardaway trailing. He'll get it in the corner. Play catch with Marbury. Marbury has it from the left side. Get a Stoudemire screen. Hardaway waiting for that basketball. So Marbury plays catch with Voskuhl. Voskuhl free throw line. Missed that shot. Rebound Trent. Seemed like they were looking for Hardaway that whole time around the baseline. Couldn't get him the ball. Front court, Kevin, baseline, 1 dribble. In rhythm, missed the shot. Rebound Stoudemire. Half court pass to Marbury. Marbury, 28 points, 6 games or more this year, and he is scoreless right now. Top of the key, Stoudemire. Hand off to Marion. Marion outside the arc, looking for Marbury. Free throw line, Voskuhl. Back door to Steph. Layup made. Finally get him on the board at the 10:23 mark. 58-42 lob. Garnett. What a dunk for Kevin. What about Kevin running the floor that time, Jim Peterson?
Great lob pass that time by Troy Hudson. Kevin Garnett, I'm sure at halftime, talked to his crew about what Amari Stoudemire did. And these guys are going to come out and play hard in this second half.
60-42. Minnesota on top, same play. Voskuhl this time could not find Marbury backdoor, so the handoff to Penny. Penny reverse, goes in, but they'll say Voskuhl tipped it in with the left hand.
That's right. That ball was hanging on the rim that time. Penny went from the right corner down the baseline, up and under the basket, and the ball hung there on the front of the rim. Voskuhl tipped it in, but goaltending was called.
2:20 into this second half. Minnesota by 18. Rasho unguarded. 18-footer good. Voskuhl was helping out on Garnett, preventing the entry pass. And Rasho wide open, so Nesterovic with 4. 62-42. Minnesota by 20. Voskuhl, left wing, short pass, Marion. Between the circles, Marbury just inside the arc. Marbury missed the shot, rebound, Nesterovic. Nesterovic, Garnett. Garnett, backcourt pass goes to Hudson. Hudson gets a Garnett screen. Troy swing it back to Gary Trent. Gary Trent lob to Garnett. Garnett double team off to Rasho, this time from 20 left wing. Back-to-back long shots by Rasho.
Tell you what, you get Wally Zerbiak back in that lineup, so Wally's the guy in the wing passing the ball to Kevin. You move Rasho to the free throw line. Nobody can sag off of their players when Kevin's in a low block. That's going to open things up for Garnett.
Space the floor up so much better. Last 6 for the Wolves. They lead by 22. 64-42. 9:07 left third quarter. Wolves cruising right now. Entertainment for one low price with the Wolves double feature. For $22, you'll receive a game ticket and a free movie voucher to AMC Theaters. This double feature offer premieres January 10th against the Kings. For ticket info, visit Timberwolves.com. Phoenix, one field goal, last 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Great defense, Minnesota. Marbury left wing. Long jump shot with the high arcing trajectory, came up short. Another board for Minnesota. Wolves 10 more rebounds than the Suns. 64-42 Minnesota on top. Garnett top of the key to Hudson. Hudson gets a Garnett screen. Troy all the way to the baseline, snap it back to Kevin, swing it quickly off to Gill on the line, two-pointer, missed the shot. Rebound Garnett, knocks out of bounds. What was Flip saying there, Pete? Could you hear that?
He was talking to Troy Hudson about a cut, but I'm not sure. Troy had the ball in the pick and roll situation. I'm not exactly sure what he was talking about.
Hardaway, bounce pass Stoudemire, crossover on Rasho, and a block and foul called on Nesterovic.
That's his fourth.
Yeah, he's going to have to sit right back down, or they could say let him play with it, but they don't. Saunders is really by the book in all these changes. So Amari with one rebound in this second half. At the line, made the free throw. 2 of 4 for Amari Stoudemire. Central Florida. That's where he's from, the 6 different high schools. Brian Colangelo makes all the basketball decisions now for the Suns. Mentioned he saw him for the first time at a McDonald's high school All-American game, but by then his other scouts, John Shoemate, Al Bianchi, and others saw him. And the way they tell the story, sometimes these are revised, as you know, Pete, that we said right then, the Suns, this quoting Colangelo, we said right then he's our guy, and they were stunned he was available, number 9, and so far it's been great stuff for him. Free throws made by Stoudemire, and then Minnesota came the other way, and Kevin tried a real fancy wraparound free throw line pass, and it went about 4 rows up.
Yeah, and he had Kendall Gill right next to him with a wide open three-point shot.
64-44, Minnesota on top. Hardaway just fell down, and he's forced to call a timeout. Penny thought that Gary Trent just tossed him to the ground, so that will be a 20-second timeout. 20-second timeout because the Wolves already have watched their opponent, Phoenix, take a full timeout. Join Canagula, Green, Spring, and Hank. Chris, Jordana, Carl, and John each weeknight for UPN 29 News at 10. They'll bring you the latest news, weather, and sports.
Well, I think one side note with the Wally Szczerbiak injury that needs to be mentioned is that Minnesota has never really talked about Wally's injuries in terms of what it's done wins and loss wise. And you know, Kendall Gill and Anthony Peeler just played, and mainly just Kendall Gill, because AP has not been as big a factor, I think, in Minnesota's wins as Kendall Gill has been. And Minnesota's going to be better when Wally Szczerbiak comes back. Flip's going to have a lot more options just when that one guy comes back in terms of playing small and playing big.
Timeout done. Wolves lead by 20, 64-44. Sean Marion, right corner, outside the arc. Penny, then he steps forward with the right foot, so he's on the line. Doesn't matter because he missed the shot. Trent, the box out on Stoudemire, and grabbed the rebound. Hudson between the legs, bounce pass, left side of the floor. Gary spinning, backing down Stoudemire, draw the double, and Michael Smith blows a 3-second call on Mark Jackson.
I think the other thing about that too is that when you think about point guard play, it's always easier when your backcourt mate is a good shooter. It really opens things up for you. Lanes get opened up because now all of a sudden, you know, the defender's not slacking off of that player. He's got to play tighter on the jump shooter. It opens up more lanes for Rod Strickland and Troy Hudson.
The Suns' overall game percentage 38%. Of late, they're 1 of 10. Minnesota in the zone, befuddling Marbury all night. Marbury's 1 of 8. Marbury dribbled to the right side, found Marion left side, missed the shot. Rebound Penny. Penny at 6'7", inside pass Stoudemire. Stoudemire guarded by Garnett and Jackson. Swings it back between the circles to Steph. Steph, run right at Hudson, drive, pass inside Stoudemire, hard foul, and Amari back at the line. Speaking of players benefiting from point guards, kind of the other way of your conversation, Pete, you have a point guard like Steph who can get in the lane so easy. That just helps out Stoudemire and Marion so much.
Absolutely. And, you know, you just, as a player, you know, as a big guy, I know that when you played with penetrating point guards, you know, like I playing with Tim Hardaway, I know that if you just kind of sit in that slot area on the baseline, outside the lane, and you wait for them to come, they draw that contact, you find a little slot where he can pass you the basketball, you're going to get dunks all day long. Dean Garrett got a big contract from the Denver Nuggets for that same exact reason. Stephon made Dean Garrett looked like an all-star, and all of a sudden Dean goes to Denver, and he's not quite the same player, is he?
No. Paycheck was nice, though.
Paycheck was very nice. Ended up coming back and being a nice player with Minnesota, complimentary player, but nowhere near the player he was with Stephon Marbury.
Stoudemire goes 1 of 2, 64-45, Minnesota by 19. Hudson trap double team the corner. He wants a 20, and he'll get it. Timeout taken by Minnesota, and the Wolves will extend it to a full timeout. Full timeout taken by Saunders. Wolves lead 64-45 over Phoenix. On top by 19. 64-45. Kendall Gillian by pass. Free throw line pass. Blocked. No, they said that wasn't blocked, just defended by Marbury.
Steph just defended Kendall very nice that time. Kendall had to hang in the air and double clutch the basketball, just shot it short and out of bounds.
It looked like it changed direction, Pete. Top of the key, Marbury shot. He can get up on that jumper, can he? He hasn't made many tonight, but you just watch how high he gets up on that jumper. Marbury makes it 2 of 9 from the field. 4 points for Marbury off the make. Gary Trent from 18 feet missed the shot. Rebound Voskuhl and Penny. Penny falling back, knew he had to give the basketball up. And Penny, a long, mean stare at Voskuhl. Boy, was that a stare down to the teammate. 64-47. Wolves by 17. Marbury slowed by Hudson. In the lane, Steph, deflection, tracks it down himself. Wow, I thought he caught that himself. Can't do that. And then a 3-second defensive call on Mark Jackson. And now Garnett and Marbury talking back and forth. And guess what? We're going to get dueling technicals. And we can get both of them. Michael Smith separated them, and I assume we're going to get a technical. Yep, yeah, on Garnett and on Marbury.
Kevin's saying, I dare you to come into the painted area. Steph's like, I'm coming. Don't worry about that. And Kevin's like, I dare you. I dare you to come into the paint. And then they start doing some F-bombs out there, and all of a sudden you get a technical foul, a double tech.
Well, that's what the officials pick up on so much, the expletives,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's
a
new era. I mean, it's just a different way.
Exactly.
And I think the officials sometimes just accept that.
I think the officials need a seminar on what the players are talking about and how they're saying it and how they're meaning it, because they're not understanding the gist of what's going on out there.
Yeah. Free throw made by Marion. Lead is 16 for Minnesota, 64-48. Marion has a corner left, Minnesota in the zone. Back to Penny at the top. Shoveled outside, intended for Marbury. Stripped by Hudson. Hudson in front court. Layup made. Wow, he set up Marbury from behind beautifully on that play twice.
Yeah, and the key was was, first of all, the little cat and mouse game he was playing, got in the passing lane, tipped it up in the air, and then slowed down on the layup so Steph couldn't block it.
Yeah, exactly right, Pete. 66-48. In the zone again. Minnesota leading by 18. Marbury, 3, made it.
Steph just got that back and just shot it. Arms went down, said, "How you like me now?"
66-51. Minnesota at 1 point leading by 22, still leading by 15. Joe Smith in the game, and Joe's all good tonight.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, that's the way to come off that down screen that time. Joe caught it at the elbow and just let it fly that time. No second guessing himself, and nothing but the bottom of the net.
10 points, 8 boards for Joe Smith. Joe's such an X factor for this team.
Absolutely.
Marion, corner right, dribble to his left, off to Marbury, crowded by Hudson, drive leaning from 14, front rim no good. Marion tip in miss, right back at it, and he's fouled.
Good hard foul by Joe that time.
Yep.
Marion got the initial tip, got the second rebound back again, was going to go back up and make the easy basket. Joe said no, grabbed both arms, made sure Sean Marion could not shoot that basketball. He's going to the line to shoot too. Sean Marion on the season, 20 points a game for him, 10 rebounds. He's only got 9 points and 5 rebounds so far in this ball game.
Garnett's defense, right?
Absolutely. See, that's another factor. I mean, right there. I mean, you know, if you got Wally Zerbiak, you can maybe start Wally at the small forward or Kendall Gill at the small forward. Put Wally or Kendall at the 2 guard. Let Kevin guard Amari Stoudemire. You could switch up and do anything you want in that situation. Kevin's really spent no time on Amari Stoudemire tonight.
Yeah, very, very little. Free throws converted. Marion makes them both. It's 68-52. Wolves on top by 16. 4:30 left in this third quarter. Mark Jackson. Wow, Jake Fosco has 2 hands on him. How's that not a foul? Gill back to Mark on the handoff, and Mark Jackson makes a layup.
Yeah, better pass that time than it was finished. Looks like Joe might have tweaked his ankle a little bit again.
Front court, Joe Johnson in the game, missed the 3, and then Stoudemire, the inside position, and a foul on Joe Smith.
What strikes me about Stoudemire is not only just his timing, but it's the way that I've seen him consistently throughout the first part of the season. Consistently just have bodies bounce off of him and still get up and over the top of the rim and dunk balls.
He is really, really strong. Post up, Stoudemire. Turn. Joe Smith read it the whole way. Blocked it with the left hand. Great read by Joe. Off to Phoenix. Marbury at the top. Drive on Garnett. In the corner finds Johnson. Back to Marbury. Drive by Garnett. Bounce pass goes to Stoudemire. Attack inside, and he's fouled on the play.
And again, it's the strength inside. It's the consistency of going up. He's going to get calls like that. He's going to go to the free throw line because he consistently attacks the rim. And, you know, he also puts defenders. I just know that guarding guys like David Robinson and, you know, I never played against Shaquille O'Neal, but I can imagine what it would be like to play against those kind of guys that you get so concerned about them not wanting to get easy baskets. You almost overreact when they get close to the rim, Chad. You almost foul them just for the sake of not letting them score easy, you know?
Foul, by the way, on Garnett. Kevin's 4th foul. So Kevin picking up that help out foul on Stoudemire. So Kevin out here at the 3:55 mark.
Yeah, I think that one right there was a good indication that Kevin just didn't want Stoudemire to do something spectacular. And I think he almost, in Kevin's case, you got to let him just go ahead and do what he's going to do, accept the 2 points and not get that 4th foul, because that's a big foul for Minnesota.
Stoudemire goes 0 for 2 at the line. Amari at the line tonight, 4 of 9. 70-52, that's your score. Wolves on top by 18, 3:40 left. Mark Jackson, nice drive. Left-handed layup is good. Great job of keeping the right side of his body towards Marion, limiting Marion's chance to block the shot. Then Marbury, how did he go through those 2 guys? He somehow split a double, and he is such a strong point guard as Marbury made that right-handed layup on the left side. So it's 72-54. Wolves by 18. Jackson open, top of the key, shot short. Rebound Marion. Suns need a big-time run to get back in this game. Minnesota's defense has been so good. Marion, the scoop with the left hand, missed it, but Davy Jones blows the call on Joe Smith. That's his 4th, Pete. So now you have Garnett, Nesterovic, and Smith all with 4 fouls. And Frank Johnson thinking, you know what, we've got their 3 best frontline players all with 4 fouls, forcing Gary Trent to come back in the game. I think Frank Johnson feels like they have a chance to get back in this game.
Yeah. He's got his A-list players on the court. I mean, other than Penny Hardaway right now, you still got a nice trade-off now. Joe Johnson and Casey Jacobson on the floor. With Stoudemire, Marbury, and Sean Marion. Pretty nice threesome right there.
You got that big three, and then you just play off them. Free throws made by Marion. That point total starting to go up. He's up to 12 now. 72-56. Where do the points come from? Trent, Gill, Peeler, Hudson, Jackson, Gary. Jump hook not close. He missed it in the lane 8 feet away. Marion the bolt. Finds Marbury. Marbury between his legs. Crossing over left side of the floor. Dribbles baseline. Bounce pass outside the arc to Jacobson. Bounce pass on the block to Stoudemire. Spin baseline. 8-foot shot made. Well, Randy Whitman said this at Shoot Around today. He'll dribble once. He's on that left block and spin to the baseline every time. And you know what? The times he's had it, he's done that every time. He's come up with rebound dunks and other plays, different spots on the floor, though. Jackson the catch in the lane. Good pump fake by Mark, and that Minnesota bench now has 26. And Mark Jackson himself has 12, and who made that in the corner?
Casey
Jacobson made a 3.
Shot it easy, too.
13-point Minnesota lead. 74-61. Wolves on top. Peel in the corner. Again to Jackson. Off the glass and down. Mark Jackson. Stellar work this entire quarter. With Garnett down, he is carrying the offense right now. No doubt about it. Marion, free throw line. Shot. Back iron. No good. Amari Stoudemire. Oh, I thought he climbed the back of Trent. Oh, I thought Stoudemire climbed the back of Trent that time.
I'll tell you what, there was separation there initially, though, Chad. Amari Stoudemire was going straight up, and Gary Trent kind of backed into Stoudemire that time, trying to box him out while he was in the air. I think that if Stoudemire had been on the floor, it would have been no problem, but he was up in the air when Trent backed out.
They call the foul on Gary.
I didn't see the replay. Did the replay show that, or didn't you quite see it?
It's tough. Didn't quite see it. By the way, Gary has 3 fouls.
Jackson's been huge here in this quarter, as you mentioned.
Last 8 for the Wolves.
And he's got 8 in the quarter on 6 of 11 shooting, 14 points total for him, 3 rebounds. Joe Smith, 10 points, 8 rebounds off the bench. So those 2 guys alone right there, 24 points.
Stoudemire had 15 free throw attempts last night. He has 11 tonight. He makes them both. And, you know, the Suns are scoring more points, so you feel like they're back in it. But guess what? The Wolves are scoring almost every time, so it's still a 13-point lead. 76-63. Phoenix had such a problem scoring in the first half of just 40 points. Mark Jackson free throw line between his legs. Mark going left. Missed the shot. Rebound Stoudemire.
Oh, man, he's putting a little Harlem Globetrotter dribbling act on.
Marbury fake the pass, take the 3, missed the shot in the corner. Johnson rebound, find Jacobson, 3, flat, rebound, Stoudemire. Hand off to Marion, rise up off the glass, no good, he's fouled.
Don't tell me that's on Gary Trent.
Yes, it is. Now 4 frontline players for Minnesota with 4 fouls, and even though the margin is 13 because of the foul trouble and because Phoenix is finally scoring in this third quarter, they are absolutely back in this game.
Yeah. Now, one thing that Minnesota does have, though, is a lot of big guys. They got a lot of big guys.
Reggie Slater now for the first time.
That's right. Reggie, put some wood to you right there. You've got Smith, Jackson, Woods, and Slater on the bench. That's 4 big guys that you can go to. Lawrence played a few minutes in this ball game tonight. He's played 4 minutes. He hadn't played much, but he played him early, too, in the first half. Played a couple stints in the first half.
Sean Marion back in the game. Free throws made, and I don't mean back on the floor. He's back in the mix now. He has 6 in the quarter points. He's getting rebounds. He's starting to guard people. 11-point Minnesota lead. Hudson off the Slater screen, missed the shot. Marion tapped that rebound on that play. Off to Johnson. Randy Brown just replaced Marbury. 1 minute left, third quarter. Suns down by 11. Marion in the corner. Gets a Stoudemire screen. Marion guarded by Slater. 18-foot shot, made it. Yeah. Suns have cut it to single figures, and again, look at that Phoenix bench. They are on the floor applauding their teammates. 9-2 Phoenix run with 45 seconds left in this third quarter. Hudson wants a high screen for Mark Jackson. He'll get it. Stoudemire steps in the lane, slows him down. Hudson skipped to Gill. Ball fake on Johnson. Then Marion came over and blocked the shot. Mark Jackson throws a shot up against the glass. It came up short, and then the Suns were fouled. Good play by Mark Jackson to throw it at the rim, but then an aggressive foul on Reggie Slater.
Yeah. Reggie was just trying to rebound the basketball. Jackson had a desperation type attempt that time, sort of under the basket towards the baseline, trying to throw it up and just touch the rim that time. And Reggie just bowled over Anthony Hardaway that time, trying to get the offensive glass.
The Wolves in this quarter had a 20-point lead at 72-52, Pete. And all was good. That's when Mark Jackson was scoring those points.
Right.
And now as Randy Brown makes the first free throw, it's down to 8. Rod Strickland in, Troy Hudson down. Phoenix at the line in this quarter, 12 for 16. Jeff Kaiser doing a great job in the stats tonight. Al Flom engineering. Bill Honecker back with us. Great to have Bill back with us. Thanks for joining us. Monday night, Target Center. Free throws made by Randy Brown, and the Suns down by 7. 24 seconds left, third quarter. 76-69 Minnesota. Strickland guarded by Brown. 2 veterans curling in the lane, catching Gill, and he's fouled from behind by Traylon Johnson. First foul on the Suns in the quarter. How about that?
That's pretty amazing.
With 15.5 left, and the Suns already had attempted 17 free throws before Phoenix picked up their first foul. Gill inbound pass to Strickland. Last shot time. Rod will get the Jackson screen. Goes right. Bounce pass. Inside. Reggie fouled, and Reggie will shoot 2 free throws. So Reggie Slater shooting free throws. Reggie playing because Garnett, Nesterovic, Trent, and Smith all on the bench in this quarter with 4 fouls.
Kevin usually does a really good job of playing aggressively without fouling and fouling out of ball games. Kevin very rarely fouls out of ball games. So Flip can probably come back with him at the beginning of the quarter.
In Phoenix, the aggressive play by Marion Stoudemire.
Sure.
That's why Kevin picked up those fouls.
That's right. That's why everybody's picked up the fouls.
Yeah, absolutely.
Marion Stoudemire's been to the free throw line 11 times, so is Marion.
2.5 seconds remaining. Reggie Slater converts them both. Into Stoudemire. Amari from 55 feet. Almost made it.
He almost made it from half court. And looked good doing it, too.
His night. His night individually. His teammates finally played well. And Minnesota leading, but momentum on the side of the road Suns right now. Wolves lead is 9.
you know, hey, they're 9-1 over the last 10 games for a reason, and this Phoenix team is going to be here in the fourth quarter.
78-69, Wolves on top. Strickland, Jackson, Garnett, Peeler, and Gill. Who's this foul on?
AP.
Anthony
cross
Peeler.
screen.
Yep.
Instead of cross screen on Kevin Garnett that time, AP came left side, back to the right side. Kevin on the right box, coming across the lane, back to the left side of the floor, and AP kind of moved in that screen that time. Got a foul call.
Marion, Stoudemire, Brown, Jacobson, Johnson, Marion, elbow right, mate. Some tough matchups on the floor right now because Kevin's on Amari Stoudemire, and Marion's just too big for Anthony Peeler, you would think. 78-71. Strickland, Garnett, right side. Looking high-low. Jackson lob. Kevin catch. Off the glass, too strong. Rebound, Marion. Marion gets the instruction from Frank Johnson with the sprint dribble, on the sideline right by him. Or Dibble.
Rob Dibble.
He was here with Dan Patrick. They just appeared briefly. Sean Marion, 18-foot shot, long. Garnett, a presence.
Oh, he's got a weird release, doesn't he, Sean Marion? Just a very strange shooting release.
He's got a nice release when he goes to the bank, though, at $86 million. But yeah, it's a funny jump shot. Garnett, skip it, right to left in the corner. Peeler deflects to Gill, three-pointer, missed it. Marion boxed out Garnett. The Matrix with the board. Marion now up to 10 boards, 10 points. Baseline drive, Jacobson unavailable. Rotate that ball back to the point guard, Brown, middle of the floor. 78-71, Minnesota by 7. We're 90 seconds into this final quarter. Rod Strickland steals it from Marion. No one will catch Rod. Layup made. Heady play by Strickland.
Yeah, and Sean Marion gave a look to Randy Brown that time like, hey, you got to tell me when that guy's coming from behind. I don't have eyes in the back of my head. If he's coming, let me know.
These guys will stare down teammates. Jacobson left side with Peeler. Amari wants it. Lob on the baseline. Garnett read it, knocked it off. Stoudemire out of bounds.
Yeah, Casey threw that one. It was a little set the hook that time on Mark Jackson. Amari came out to catch on the wing. He was being overplayed that time, went back door. Casey laid that one up way too high. Kevin came from the weak side and made a nice read on that to knock that one off Amari's hand and out of bounds.
Wolves' biggest lead, 22. Suns' biggest lead was the opening 2 minutes of the game at 10-4. 2 minutes into this final quarter. Minnesota up by 9. Garnett man-on-man with Marion. Baseline turn, missed the shot. Rebound on the floor goes to Johnson. Johnson, left side. Does he want to challenge Garnett? No, Kevin slowed him down. Stoudemire wants a post-up same side. Instead, go elbow to Amari. Right back to Johnson. Amari set the screen. Johnson on a switch, guarded by Jackson. Bounce past Stoudemire. Stoudemire hook. Garnett right back at him. Kevin Garnett swats it in the front row, and the fans feeding off that play has Kevin right back at the 20-year-old. How fun was that, Pete?
that was fun. Seeing Kevin a little pick and roll that time. He got switched off on Stoudemire in the little hole, and boy, Kevin threw that one so far back into the back row. My goodness.
1 second, Marion three-pointer at the buzzer.
He made
Come on. Oh, my. Sean Marion just flicked it up there with the wrist.
That's right.
24 feet away, and nothing but the bottom of the net. Now it's down to 6. 80-74. Wolves on top. Strickland in a bad spot from the sideline. Bounce past Jackson. Lob in the lane. Big ticket. He's fouled. Missed the shot. Marion the foul, and Kevin at the line.
You know, when you see that shot block by Kevin on Amari Stoudemire, you know, Stoudemire went to the right-hand running hook that time. Thought he could throw it right down on Kevin. Kevin timed it perfectly. And really, Jed could have caught the basketball. I mean, didn't have to throw out of bounds. And you know, when you think about those block shots, and Kevin did a lot of that early in his career. He used to block the ball out of bounds a lot of time and never control the tip.
Right.
That's why Bill Russell was so good. Russell used to control the ball to players and teammates. And you throw it out of bounds like that, yeah, it's intimidating. They come back and get that three-point shot, and that's a big play. I mean,
I agree. It seems guys with such big hands, Garnett, Stoudemire, so many others, that they could catch
the ball
shots more often.
Yeah, I mean,
because obviously he's reading the play. That's why he made the great block.
Right. I mean, he had it timed absolutely perfectly. He blocked it off of the hand. It wasn't like he blocked it in Stoudemire's hand.
No.
Just catch it like it's a rebound.
Kevin makes them both. The boos tell you that Marbury's back on the floor. It's 82-74. Minnesota on top. 3 minutes into this final quarter. Marbury, Stoudemire. Rasho's back in. Amari walked, gets possession, jump hook, made it. Oh, he walked on that play to get in the lane, but then when they let him walk, he made a great play.
He's got 32.
12 rebounds for a 20-year-old high school rookie. Bounce pass Nucerovic off the glass, made it. He pinned Amari that time. He pinned Stoudemire behind him, and the 7'1" Slovenian bumps his total to 8. And who's that foul on? That's on Rasho. My gosh.
And that's Amari Stoudemire creating contact, pushing Rasho first. Rasho reacting, pushing back, and the referee always sees the second person.
All sports, that's 100% right. (84-76). Wolves on top. Stoudemire battling with Joe Smith, and Joe steals it on a post-up attempt for Stoudemire. Run to the floor, big ticket, climb that ladder. Nobody go up there with him, and punch it home with the emphatic 10-point Minnesota lead. Kevin Garnett starring here in the fourth quarter. What a dunk by Kevin. 86-76. Wolves lead. Marion drive. Garnett blocked it. Kevin the block, then a foul on Randy Brown. Another one of those memorable 20-second moments for Garnett. A dunk and then a block of Sean Marion's shot.
Could have been a foul on Kevin. I thought he fouled Marion on the way to the basket. Nice little lob pass from AP to Kevin Garnett that time. Boy, tell you what, you can kind of just throw it anywhere in the general vicinity because Kevin is so good at catching it and throwing it down. You don't have to be that accurate with it. Just get it up there and let Kevin time it and do the work himself.
Excellent Monday night crowd, 18,347. Enjoying this 86-76. Wolves lead. Strickland baseline open. Off a good screen from Garnett. Rod now off the bench with 6. And Minnesota's bench production going up. 6-0 run for the Wolves, on top by 12, and who stepped out? That's Marion. Moving screen, trying to free up Stephon Marbury. 34 points for the Wolves bench. Just 8 for the Suns bench.
Yeah. It just feels like one of those games where the Phoenix Suns aren't going to mount the comeback. The Wolves have been seemingly been able to, withstand a lot of the pressure they've been putting on and exerting a lot of their own. So
sometimes you get that long comeback, and if you don't get all the way to the tie, you don't get there.
Right, exactly.
They closed to 6, and then Garnett grabbed the moment for about a minute with 6 straight. And right now it's 12, and the Wolves have the ball. They lead 88-76. Kevin top of the key. Ball fake on Outlaw and a hand check on Bo.
I could be wrong, but we generally get a sense, Chad. We've seen so many games and participate in so many games. You just get a sense for what's going on. The Phoenix Suns
I mean, you could
have
sense,
had a nice run.
You could sense that third quarter Phoenix comeback, right?
Yeah.
I mean, when they were coming back.
Yeah, in the third quarter I could,
Yeah.
but not now I don't.
Anthony Peeler into Rod Strickland. Rod, they had Troy Hudson baseline open. Instead, they're going to look for Kevin. Kevin ISO with Outlaw, left side. Here comes Stoudemire, faking the double. Rotate the ball, opposite way. Hudson missed the shot. Peeler uncontested rebound, and AP will step out and run that offense. 88-76. Wolves by 12, 5 minutes into this quarter. Rod Strickland, couple screens from Garnett. Rod straight on three, not close. That range is just too far for Rod. Front court, Marion finds Marbury. Post up inside, Stoudemire. Made it. Just rose up above Joe Smith and was too strong for him. And Amari with 34. His career high was 20. An emerging star on display tonight. An already patented superstar dribbling for Minnesota, Kevin Garnett. And he has a basketball left hand, and it's knocked out of bounds. Gill in, Peeler out.
Yeah, the Wolves still have the 2 point guards in there, Strickland and Troy Hudson. So AP down, Kendall Gill in, Minnesota still staying small.
6:32 left, Wolves by 10 in this fourth quarter. 88-78, flash in the lane, Kevin, turn, made it. Turned the other way, Outlaw was reading him more middle, and he stepped outside the lane, made the shot, and it's 90-78. Wolves by 12. No one within 12 feet of Outlaw. He hands off to Marbury, three-pointer long. Garnett's 11th board. Garnett finds Gill. Gill finds Hudson. Saunders calls out the elbow play. This will be Strickland and Garnett on the right side of the floor. Here comes Kevin, screen set, Rod open, 15-foot shot. Miss it, rebound, foul on Joe Smith. Joe definitely over the back of Sean Marion. 5th foul, Joe Smith. 5:55 left in the game. Fourth quarter, Wolves lead the Suns 97. The Suns for the first of 4 meetings this year, and the Wolves on top 90-78. And Minnesota with the zone to look with Garnett at the top. Marbury, Marion, Jacobson, Outlaw, and Amari Stoudemire. Between the circles, Marion finds Marbury, left-handed dribble drive, lob in the left corner, finds Marion. Marion leaning from 14 left side, buried.
Tough shot, tough pass by Steph too to be able to hang in the air and find Marion in that corner right in front of the Wolves bench, and Marion made a tough leap and leaner.
They just have 3 supreme athletes. 90-80. Minnesota by 10. Strickland bounce. Kevin catch. Lob in the lane goes to Joe. Wow, somebody fouled Joe. Looked like Marbury grabbed his jersey. Rotate the ball, left corner, Gill. Air ball, rebound, goes to Marbury. 5:10 left, broken floor. Marbury zigzagging, front court, teardrop, does not go down. Rebound on the floor, it's Garnett. Knocked away by Stoudemire. Kevin thought a foul should have been whistled. Kevin screams at Michael Smith, letting him know. Garnett's 12th rebound. Hudson left corner, Gill. Kendall, the drive, nowhere to go. Stoudemire blocks that shot easy. Deflection goes, big ticket. Ball fake Marion, the drive. Snap back to Kendall. Run over a Phoenix player. What do we have? That's a charge.
A lot of stuff going on the floor. Bo Outlaw that time drew the charge on Kendall. Gill that time.
Was Bo Outlaw in the half circle? That's the only question. I'm sure television will show us a replay. We have a monitor in front of us. They gave us a bad look, though. The look doesn't show us. And then when Phoenix came the other way, a foul called on Joe Smith. That's it. Joe Smith just fouled out. Joe Smith just fouled out with 4:41 remaining.
Here comes Rasho Nesterovic, who's been plagued by foul trouble himself. Only 13 minutes for Rasho Nesterovic. He has 5 fouls as well. Rasho, though, 4 of 5 from the floor, 8 points. But as we've said, I mean, he got 2 early, got 4 quickly as well. He just never been into the flow of the game. I mean, seemingly whenever he gets into the ball game, he gets that next foul, it sits him back down again. And the next one will sit him back down again for the rest of the game.
Inbound pass, Marbury looking for Stoudemire. ISO for Amari against Rasho. Rasho giving him the shot. Crossover Amari. Rasho went down. Stoudemire glassing down. Crossed over, made the shot. Rasho fell back. 36 points for Amari Stoudemire. 23 in the first half, 13 in the second. And Eddie Johnson told us he didn't have post-up or skills at all. Who's Eddie
just
been
raw
watching?
talent, and he does have raw talent. There's no question about that.
Minnesota just turned it over, Pete.
Yep.
Saunders thinking about a timeout, but Marbury pushes it real quick. And now Hudson steals it from him. And then a reach-in foul on Jacobson. Frustration foul by Jacobson. Excellent key defensive play by Hudson.
And that's what Troy Hudson brings to the mix that Minnesota hasn't had since Stephon Marbury, is that man-up defensive presence. And Troy Hudson very, very crafty and deceptive on the defensive end.
Timeout, 4:02 remaining. I think the most entertaining game of the season. What do you think, Pete?
Very, 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 yeah, I would say so. I mean, there's a lot of anticipation with the
and everybody will drop back. Half court awaiting Hudson is Marbury. Lob to Kevin, left side of the floor. Rasho the screen. Kevin top of the key. Finds Gill. Gill inside. Nowhere to go. Swinging outside Peeler. Touch top of the key. Big ticket. Shot made.
Yeah. And Kevin's been the man tonight. I mean, every time Phoenix has made any kind of run at all, Kevin's been able to make the play or the defensive play, the block shot, or the offensive play to keep Minnesota on top.
8 in this quarter for Garnett. 20 overall. Minnesota by 10. 92-82. Amari Stoudemire drive. Missed the reverse dunk. Oh. It just is an angry dunk he has up there.
It's breathtaking. It really is.
Marion outside the arc. Looked off Stoudemire, went to Marbury, turned the corner, find Jacobson, stroked that three, miss it long. Marion out, jumps, Gill for the rebound. Back to Steph, three-point look, made it. Offensive boards, Pete. Gives you life.
Sean Marion may have twisted his ankle.
Yeah. Remember, he first injured the ankle Friday. 92-85, Garnett finds Gill off the glass. Late call on Stoudemire. Mike D'Antoni joining Frank Johnson, both up in arms about the call. How about Stoudemire and Marion? Until Marbury's three, they were the only two players who had scored until Steph made that three, talking about the Phoenix side, where Kevin's been the main guy, but you've had other players helping Kevin out.
I mean, it's been really a great defensive scheme for Minnesota because they've been able to do exactly what they wanted to do. Take away Stephon Marbury, take away a lot of the penetration, keep other guys from hurting you, and they've given up certain things, and what they've given up is the middle of the lane at times when they've been switching and double teaming on the pick and roll situation. So Marion and Stoudemire have been the two beneficiaries.
Free throws made by Kendall. 94-85. Minnesota by 9. 2:40 left. Outlaws a pass. He hands off to Marbury. Marbury double. Swings out of that double. Keeps the dribble alive at the top. Dribbles to right elbow. Shovel to Jacobson. Turn the corner. Go left. Teardrop. Made the shot. And a foul call. I told you, Pete, when I've watched the Suns this year, this guy, Casey Jacobson, as opposed to Penny Hardaway, has played late. And the way he's played here, we can see why with these three dynamic athletes. He just waits for the ball and doesn't just settle for outside shots.
Yeah, he is an aggressive player as well. Just talking with Eddie Johnson, who does their radio and TV, of course, great NBA player himself. He said that Casey Jacobson plays with a lot of energy, and that's one of the reasons why he does play in the fourth quarter is because he plays with that reckless abandon and a lot of confidence.
Free throw made. 6-point. Wolves lead. 2:20 left in the game. 94-88. Hudson. Bounce pass. Garnett. Triple team. Kevin on the sideline. Swings it. Peeler the catch. Top of the key, Kendall. Dribble on Jacobson. Teardrop. Back rim doesn't go in. But Kevin rebounds and finishes up. Cleans it up. And Kevin Garnett bumps that lead back to 8. Marbury pull up three. Right back at Minnesota. Steph the pull up. And it's a 5-point game. But here comes Kendall. Down court pass. Layup is made. There's 3 scores in 10 seconds.
And that's the way to get the ball to bounce quickly, Chad, and look up court.
98-91. Wolves on top. Marbury drive.
And that's
foul.
it for Rasho.
And Rasho's done as Steph. That aggressive leaping and aggressive lean. Didn't make the shot, but he fouls out Nesterovic. And I would assume Gary Trent. No, instead it'll be Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson in.
Mark's played very well in the ball
yes,
game,
he
too.
has.
6 of 13 for Mark Jackson. 14 points for him. Rasho's going to sit down with only 8 points and 3 rebounds in the ball game.
Don't forget, you can register at Becker Furniture World, Timberwolves.com, or at BeckerFurnitureWorld.com for your chance to sit in a Becker Furniture World couch located just feet for the players during every home game. And Marbury's free throw no good. Marbury's first free throw of the night. That tells you how effective Minnesota has been keeping Steph out of the lane.
Yep.
That one made. 98-92. Wolves lead. 1:45 left in the game. Wolves at 9-4 at home. Hudson left side outside the arc. Marbury bats it away. Shot clock at 10, and then it's knocked out of bounds, but they'll call a foul on Marbury. That was close, Pete. What'd you think?
Good aggressive play by Steph, but the reason why Steph went so hard at Troy was because Troy lost the basketball. Steph had kind of knocked the ball away from him. Could have gone either way.
Troy Hudson's a very good free throw shooter. Among the league leaders.
Yep.
5% most of the season for Troy, and then of late it's getting even better at 88. And this one made. 16 for Hudson, 17 for Gill, 22 for Garnett, 14 for Jackson, 10 for Smith. Those, the 5 players in double figures, and add one more to Troy. And the lead is 8 for Minnesota with 90 seconds left in the game. 192. Wolves on top. Marbury on the drive. Garnett helps out Hudson. Marbury finds Marion. 3 is buried. The Suns will not go away. The 3 for Phoenix, number 6 tonight. 1:20 left in a wildly entertaining game. Hudson left side, trying to get by Marbury. In the corner, milking that clock. Lob to Kevin. Top of the key, Kendall. Open look. Miss it. Rebound. Inside, it's Stoudemire. Stoudemire's 13th board. Timeout, Frank Johnson. 63 seconds left. Phoenix ball down by 5. You're coming back. Smaller though, as Penny will replace Bo Outlaw, and Flip will count.
Yeah, you know, Bo Outlaw is not much of a free throw shooter, so you don't want him on the floor right now in this situation, and he can't make a perimeter jump shot, so I was surprised that he kept that Frank Johnson kept Bo Outlaw for so long.
Especially with the Wolves so limited on the perimeter players.
Right.
Wolves trying to match up. They're not sure who has who. Strickland will take Casey Jacobson. Marbury the ball. Suns down 195, exactly 1 minute left.
Oh no.
Marbury, terrible pass. Threw it away right to Strickland. Down court, Gill, Hudson play catch. They try to force it. It goes out of bounds. Off Phoenix. Wow, was that a crazy sequence. Marbury, terrible pass, and then why Minnesota rushed it, I have no idea. 49 seconds left. Minnesota ball. The Wolves lead by 5. Kendall Gill into Troy. Troy, the quick shot. Missed that shot. Rebound, Marion. The Wolves had 24 seconds left. Marion drive and cleanly blocked by Kevin. Kevin blocked the shot. Loose ball on the floor. They're going to call a foul on Phoenix. Phoenix gets the foul. They're going to call it on Casey Jacobson jumping on Troy Hudson's back. Oh, that was a monster play by Garnett as he blocked Marion when Marion for a moment had a big stride on Kevin, and as we watch the replay, Pete, that's a clean block by Kevin.
Yep, I mean, Sean Marion got past Kevin going back with the left hand, and Kevin just stayed behind him, timed it, realized that he could just go ahead and stay where he was, didn't want to foul him. Sean Marion is a good free thrower himself, 18th in the league right now. Troy Hudson, 6th in the league coming into this ball game at 88%, as you mentioned earlier, and he drains the first one. But the block was great. Kevin tiptoed down the baseline, kept it back in bounds, and Troy Hudson gave up his body to dive on that loose ball. So
Troy had to after that shot.
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
take the quick three-point shot.
No need, none.
22 seconds to go on the clock with less than 45 seconds to go. You want to waste that time.
Free throws made. Minnesota up by 7. Nobody guards Stoudemire. He's wide open. They throw it down court. How does that happen? Now it's a 5-point lead for the Wolves with 29.7 left. and Phoenix fouls Rod Strickland. 38 for Amari Stoudemire.
You know, Amari Stoudemire was in the right corner, sort of hiding, and Minnesota was trying to put pressure on, and nobody saw him back there. They had two players actually on the baseline. Penny was in one quarter. And
I got to find the guy who's got 36.
Yeah. And you might want to find the guy who can throw it home on top of you. And
yeah.
Nobody picked him up. Rod Strickland.
Free throw for Rod. Oh, as flat as can be.
That's right.
29.7 remaining. Phoenix has a timeout left. They already used their 20, so just one full timeout left. Rod with the lead at 5. Free throw, rattled home. Not pretty, but in. 103-97. 25 seconds left. Phoenix the ball, trailing by 6. Steph lower that head, drive, and on the pass, that whistle came, and a foul was called. Marbury will shoot 2 free throws with 23.5 remaining, and Minnesota on top by 6. Marbury at the line tonight, 1 of 2. Marbury 16 points, 5 assists. If you're joining us now, Marbury's been off because of foul trouble in the first quarter. He just never got on track. Free throw, Steph, number 1, made it. His sister Stephanie watching quietly from the corner front row seat. One more for Marbury. Missed it. Gill the board. They got a foul right away, and Marbury fouls Kendall Gill.
Yeah. The Suns are going to look back at this ball game and say, you know, we got taken out of our offense, but we really could have done a better job. We got to the free throw line a ton of times in the third quarter when the Wolves, you know, didn't even get a foul call until the 11:45 mark in that period.
They were 13 of 17 in that quarter at the line.
And they've missed 13 free throws in the ball game. They're
Yes.
22 of 35. So, I mean, they could have really, really controlled this ball game had they shot free throws well.
Kendall, free throw, made it. 21.5 left. This next free throw, if made, makes the lead 3 possessions minimum. Kendall missed it. Amari Stoudemire rebound. Add to those superlative numbers. Marion the drive, right corner Jacobson, drive on Strickland inside, layup, missed it. Rebound Kevin, that'll seal it. Kevin Garnett answered the bell in the fourth quarter. And Kevin, how about the embrace with Garnett and Stoudemire? Kevin, some really positive comments for Amari Stoudemire. That was a great game to watch, a lot of fun to call, and bottom line, the Wolves